Hello, welcome to another episode of Inside the Industry Unfiltered with myself, Adam Smith. Delighted to say I welcome our first music guest onto the podcast this week. It's Yungen. Yungen, how you doing, mate?
Brother, I'm good, man. I'm
Been
great.
a while,
Thank
hasn't
you.
it?
Been a while.
I think the last time I saw you was at a breakfast do, wasn't it? About 8 in the morning.
And I'm never up for breakfast. So it
Neither
must
am I,
have been
yeah.
a good day.
Neither of us are morning people. You're looking well, mate.
Thank you,
Now, there's
bro.
loads to get in with you because obviously we know you as a rapper, MC. You've started podcasting as well.
Yeah.
You appear in a lot of football stuff as well. You've been on a lot of the shows I do as well. So a lot to get into, but you are known for your music. That's what you like to be referred to as, isn't it?
Yeah,
Still.
of course.
So tell me about sort of growing up, your childhood. Was it always you wanted to be a musician from a young age? Talk to me about sort of the early years, so to speak.
If I'm honest, I think growing up I wanted to be a footballer.
Yeah.
It's like,
So does everyone, don't they?
Yeah, like every kid. I wanted to be a footballer. I've always loved music.
Yeah.
I was very like, I don't know if the word shy, but I was like, I didn't really like, I don't think anyone knew I made music or I rapped for years.
Really?
Like, apart from like my tight circle and probably
Yeah.
my mum, because I was probably rapping around the house all the time.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I don't think I ever showed it. Like I don't know. I always say like I never wanted to be like in the public or whatever.
Really?
I hated taking pictures when I was younger. Yeah.
So you were shy, didn't like pictures,
Didn't like pictures. I have no school photos.
Really?
Yeah, from like year 7 to year 11. I
Wow.
have no school photos.
Wow.
It's crazy.
And what was it? Tell us about your sort of upbringing and where you grew up and what your relationship was like with your family and all of that.
Yeah, so I grew up in a place called Hernhill,
Yeah.
South London. I'm one of 6 kids. My mom's got 6 kids.
Wow.
So I grew up in a big house, big family, and I enjoyed growing up really.
Yeah.
Like, when I look back at it now, I just think, I wish I could go back to them times.
Do you?
Yeah.
Lively household then, 6
Lively,
of you. Yeah.
lively, very lively.
So what age did you sort of start rapping then and realising you sort of had a passion for that? If you said, because it's interesting you're saying you were quite shy, you didn't really like, your football was your passion.
Yeah.
What age did that come about?
Maybe about 11, 12, I first started like writing and started rapping. I had like an older cousin that used to rap.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was sick, and I just thought it was the sickest thing ever. And I was like, okay, like I'm gonna start rapping and writing my own bars. I think at the start I was like copying his bars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then and then I started like writing my own lyrics and stuff. And then like I started like becoming a fan of people like Wretch 32 and started like realizing the skill of rap and just thinking, wow, like, how have you said that? Like what made you think of that? That's been a big thing for me in music. Like that's where I think I got my passion from. Like hearing rappers rap and think, wow, what made you think of saying that? Yeah. And then
Like the story behind the music, like the inspiration behind the writing of it.
Yeah, and just being clever with lyrics and stuff. Like I think I would say that's my style of rap as well. Like I always try to say something that has a double meaning or like so.
I know what you mean actually with some of your lyrics actually, because obviously like I listen to a lot of music and there's a lot of thought. It's not just like you're rhyming something with something. There's thought that goes in behind it.
I take like so long to write.
Do you?
Like some people just go in. Like I go in like working with like for example Young Bane.
Yeah.
So quick. Like he'll do like 3 songs in an hour.
Really?
I'm like he's like super quick. I'm like, how have you done that?
Yeah.
I'm in there like taking an hour to do like 8 lines, 8 bars, like. Because everything for me has to make sense. But I think for people, everything works different.
Where did Yungen come from? Because Yungen's not your real name, is it?
No.
obviously?
Youngen's not my real name. So Yungen come from like just growing up in the area. I was like the youngest like, out of my batch of friends. And then I didn't really used to like it when people was like, oh yeah, he's the young under the group. Like, I didn't really used to like it, but it's just a name that stuck. And then, yeah.
And do you feel like you need like your own sort of tagline or name? Because a lot of rappers have.
Yeah.
They don't go with like, their normal names, do they?
But like, I had it before I was like kind of doing music. So it was like, I just went into music and that was just going to be my name. I never would have like, I wasn't even thinking about it, if I'm honest with you, bro. Yeah, I didn't
just
think
stuck,
like, and then even like when I first put out my first song, I never ever thought, oh yeah, I'm like trying to make a career of it. I think like now when the younger guys are coming through, like they actually can see it and just say, oh, we can make it, or we could be like a Stormzy or whatever. When I was coming through, there was like no one.
Really?
They were like so solid and stuff like that. But
Garage scene. I love the garage scene. So solid crew, Luck and Neat, all of that.
The
Who are your inspirations then? You mentioned Wretch.
Yeah,
Who are the ones that you took inspiration from and actually thought that's what I want to be?
Yeah, like so Wretch, So Solid.
Yeah.
Gigs was massive as well.
Yeah.
Because someone like Gigs, like I was listening to Gigs before I even knew what he looked like.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah, like I didn't even know what he looked like. Just me and my friends just had mixtapes of Gigs. So yeah, like it was more like local people from my area as well that I grew up listening to, and yeah, that was it really.
And in terms of like when you're at school, you're obviously writing lyrics. You're saying at 12, like are you What sort of kid were you at school? Are you concentrating on school? Are you thinking, this is what I want to be from an early age? Once you realised football wasn't the angle you're going down, well, what were you like in school?
I'll be dead honest. I was like a super smart kid, super smart. My dad was very, very much on me.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it was. I think just my surroundings, the area I was in, and I was just led astray. No, I wouldn't say led astray. I had my own mind. I was doing my own thing. But yeah, I didn't finish school. So
You didn't?
No, so I left school in maybe year 9, so 14. And I was never in education since after
Really?
that.
Did I read you get expelled? Is that right?
So I got expelled.
What was that for?
So I got expelled for fighting. I was just on my last chance. I had a fight with someone. I got expelled, and then they tried to send me to college.
Right.
Like, this is how it shows that I was like actually intelligent. They tried to send me to college a year early to do my GCSEs.
Wow.
And I just didn't want to go to college. They were sending me somewhere else. I was just like, I'm not doing this. Like,
really?
But my dad was very strict. So he was just like, no, like, you're going to college.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, it wasn't for me. Me and my dad fell out over it, didn't speak.
Really?
Yeah, didn't speak for years and stuff. So
what, because of that? So that's because your dad's very much installing beliefs in you, how important education is.
Yeah.
You wanted to pursue other passions, and that
Do you know
led
what?
to a big fallout, did it?
It was like, I've been very like strong-minded from like very young. If I'm going to do something, I want to do it.
Yeah.
But my dad was like very strict. My mum was more like, my mum worked like 2 jobs and stuff like that. I didn't live with my mum and dad, so.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with my dad. So, I grew up with my dad, but he didn't live in the same household as me. So, when I was at home with my mum, obviously my mum, she works all the time. She was always out, so I kind of had freedom.
Yeah.
Where my dad would just be, every time he's coming, he's checking on me, checking on school and checking on. But because it wasn't every single day, I was getting away with like, do you know what I mean?
Right, because you're not seeing him every day. You can get away with being a bit cheeky chappy sort of thing. Yeah.
But when my dad come around, I was like best behaviour. So I think when I was getting into little problems and I got kicked out of school and stuff, my dad was like, what? Like, what do you mean he was so shocked, so surprised, and so disappointed. But I think that urged me to like more like, I have to do something because I want to prove him wrong.
Right.
Like, I don't want him to think, oh yeah, my son's just a failure or whatever.
Yeah. So was that a tough moment for you then? How long did you not speak for, if you don't mind me asking?
I think maybe like a year or 2.
So how tricky is that then? Because you're teenage years, right? So that's an important developmental age. That, I mean, how difficult was that for you then?
I think at the time, if I'm dead honest with you, at the time I probably was young and just thought, oh, all right, cool, like we're not gonna talk then. But when I look back at it now, it was a madness because my dad's always been in my life, and he's been a very, very good dad. Like he's always like tried to play his part, always wanted the best for me. But I think my head was such in another space.
Yeah.
But me and my dad talk about it now, we laugh about it now. And
Nice.
And he's just like, if you wasn't like that, you probably wouldn't be where you are now or who you are now. Yeah. And he said, like, my dad admires it now. Yeah. But at the time, he just thought, like, you're just disrespectful, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's weird how life works out.
It is weird how life works. It's interesting that you picked up on a point there that you said you thought he was disappointed in you, and that made you, that almost ignited a fire in your belly to be successful. So although, and obviously, like, we want everyone to stay in school, and you don't want anyone to get expelled or anything, but the path that you took, like that disappointment that your dad had for you, probably made your passion for music even stronger. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, 100%. And I think as well, I was probably like, I was getting in trouble and stuff, but also I was playing football as well. So I think I was naive to the point that I'm probably going to make it in football anyway. In my head, I just thought like, oh,
we all think that, don't we, when you play football?
I'm going to make it anyway. Like, and then life just doesn't work out that way. And then when football didn't work out, I was like, nah, I really need to do something. And even at that point, maybe about 17, 18, I still didn't know it was music I wanted to do. So I knew I loved music. I was like writing a lot more and going studio at that point, but I didn't know that's actually what I was going to do. So
was it a sort of tough period, that sort of teenage years? Because obviously you said there you didn't speak to your dad for a year. Obviously you got expelled as well, and then tragically you lost one of your best friends at the age of 16. I think I might. Like, how difficult? I'm so sorry to hear that, by the way. How difficult was that period of your life and that moment?
Yeah, I think at the time everything's just fast paced, so you don't. I've never, like, it's so crazy now because I've got like a 16-year-old nephew and a 15-year-old nephew. Wow. And one of my nephew, the 16-year-old, he's like good as gold. Like he's on his school stuff. He's just very focused, very mature. The 15-year-old, he's like in academy football. It's like a mirror of me. He's in academy football, but then he's getting in these little problems. And I'm like, oh my God, this is me. Like I could, and then luckily he has like massive respect for me and he listens to me and if I say, yo, come here and be here, he will come. But with me, I was just like going off with my friends. My dad told me to be somewhere. I'm like, nah, I'm going. Like, do you know what I mean? So luckily, I've been there, so I can see it with my nephew, and he's doing so well. Like, he's turning it around. He wasn't like me. He was like me, but he wasn't like me. Like, he actually wasn't getting in trouble and stuff.
Yeah.
He just keeps like finding himself in the wrong place.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it when I look back in, I'll go, wow, like, how did I get through that? It was mad.
Yeah.
Even at like 16, so just before my good friend Reese passed away, I moved out of home at 16. 16 years old, I was like, I think like maybe the day or two after my 16th birthday, I left home, I went to live in a hostel and stuff like that. So it was like, but when I think about that now, like, and where I am now in life, I think, how was I living in a hostel? How did I do that for 2 years or 3 years or however long I did it for?
Yeah.
Like, but
so you live in a hostel, and then your friend passed away shortly after that.
Yeah,
so it's a lot to process as a teenager, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think, I'll be dead honest, I don't think I was, my friend Dan was obviously massive because he was like a massive part of my area.
Yeah.
And I grew up obviously in an estate, and an estate, everyone's like family. Do you know what I mean? So him dying, it was just like, when he was at the hospital, when we was at the hospital the day he died, like it was like 50 people there.
Really?
Like it was crazy. Like the whole accident and emergency was full of like people from my area, like old people, young people.
Yeah.
It was insane. So it was massive. That was like a big effect on all of us.
Yeah.
But I think everything was just happening so fast. I don't really think at the time I felt it.
Yeah. That's interesting you saying that. Did you have any coping mechanisms at that time? Was it getting in the studio writing? Was it going to, a lot of people use exercise or gym? I mean, in terms of such a difficult thing, a horrific thing to have happen to anyone, the worst thing. I mean, did you have any coping mechanisms to help you through that at the time?
I'd probably just music. I didn't realize it at the time though, but it was probably music, being around my friends. Like, I used to love spending time with my friends. Like any chance I got to spend with my friends, I was just like, be with my friends.
Yeah.
Like, I loved spending time with my friends, and just that really, just music and being around my loved ones, really.
It seems you talk about music there, because whenever I've spoken to you, you always talk so passionately about music. It's almost like you've got to, I mean, obviously I work in football and TV. I love TV, I love football, but I think with music, because a lot of it will come into it later on about how when you sign music deals and there's a little bit more complication with music specifically in terms of ownership and writing, and there's a lot of pressure on the artist. Did you always have that? I suppose it's interesting when you say about your father and the relationship that you had with him, that sort of spurred you on when he didn't speak to you. Was it similar when your friend passed away, that you wanted to, you really wanted music to be a purpose for you because of the tragedy that you suffered?
100%. The first like video I ever shot is I did a cover of Adele Hometown. Yeah. I found a beat on YouTube, and I was just like, that whole video, when I look back at it now, I was just like, it was basically about my friend that died. Like, we all had like RIP t-shirts on, and like, when I was watching the video like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, wow, like I was looking back and just looking at all my friends and how young we was, and I was thinking, this is crazy. Like, and that was like one of the first times I ever been on camera as well. Yeah. So it was just like, so I don't know if he didn't pass away, I don't know if I would have done that.
Really? Wow. Yeah. So he inspired you so much to release that.
Yeah, I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if I was thinking about it, but I feel like it made me like, oh, come, let's make t-shirts and let's do a video, and like, so it was definitely inspired.
It's powerful that. Yeah well, in terms of music as well, what happens to become a rapper? I'm intrigued to know. Like, I've done a bit of MC, and I was into my garage and R&B back in the day, but not to the level you've done. I mean, do you go to a Brit school? Do you speak to people? Is it literally just you at home writing lyrics? I mean, where do you learn that trade?
Yeah, so just literally being at home writing lyrics. Obviously, I came up in YouTube was just started blowing up. Yeah. So like people like, you see the people like Wretch32 and all these people, Skepta, and all these people coming up on YouTube, and you're like, oh, these guys are crazy. And then you just realize, right, these guys are just filming with cameras and just like, you realize that they're actually doing it all themselves. It was, ironically, I kind of wanted to go Brit school.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't even know if I wanted to do music there, but I just remembered, it sounds so silly now, but there was a girl that I fancied that went to the Brit school.
That's good enough for you.
Yeah,
that's the reason. Like, I want to go there.
That was it. And I just felt like, she was like, yeah, I'll go Brit. And I was like, bro, that's sick. Like,
me too.
I want to go there as well.
I'm already going there,
I've done that before as well, lied about what school I go to for a girl. But so I didn't go Brit or anything, and I just started writing like that.
So let's talk about some of these, the early days then, because you mentioned there, 2010, you released Hometown, first video on YouTube. Now, this then sparked interest from SBTV founder Jamal Edwards, which led to your freestyle video on that channel, which is iconic, which everyone thinks of you. Was that the first sort of young and has arrived moment, do you think, when you appeared on SBTV?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's weird because I had like two. I did like an SBTV warm-up session and an SBTV S64. And I feel like both of them was like moments, like massive moments in my career. Like people always say, like when I meet them, I go, "Do you know how long I've been a fan of you? Since you was wearing that Franklin and Marshall hoodie on SBTV, or like when you was wearing that Rihanna t-shirt." And I see like there was like something on Twitter. They was putting like the Rihanna t-shirt and the chino jeans, and it was like, "This is Yungen in 2012."
Old school Yungen, isn't
old school Yungen. And I was like, "That's crazy." Like when people see that t-shirt, they think of me just because of that freestyle.
Yeah.
It's mad.
And SBTV, I remember, was massive and also very sort of trailblazer and quite unique. For the listeners and the viewers that don't know anything about SBTV, just explain what it was and how big that was in the music industry at the time.
It was massive. If you done it, was like signing a record deal.
Really?
If you got on to go on to Jamal's channel SBTV, you took that step into like, here's the step. If you get this right, if you deliver here, you've got a chance of being a musician in whatever you want to do.
Why do you think that is? So it was a YouTube channel, SBTV. Jamal Edwards sadly passed away. We'll get onto that as well. So sad that trailblazer and a genius in the field, with which so many people have. I've actually met him as well, and
he's amazing.
Amazing guy. But what made the channel that special to you? And like you just said that was like signing a record deal. Why was that the case?
Because it was like, this is where you saw your favorite rappers and your favorite MCs. Like I said, Wretch 32, his Wretch F64 was like, I used to go, I've probably listened to that maybe 2,000 times on SBTV. So many other like SBTVs, F64s, they were just moments that like showed how good you was at rapping, do you know what I mean? And all the big rappers at the time and all the hot up and coming rappers went on it. Yeah. So it was like, you just wanted to get on it because if I get on here and I prove myself, all these people are going to see. Jamal done amazing to build up the channel as well. I remember he did, I think it was like a million views special or 1 million subscribers special, and he had BBK on there. Yeah. And they done a freestyle for like 7 minutes. And
amazing.
I remember all of that stuff because it was like, it was massive, man.
Was the good thing about it as well? Like, I think back to your freestyle, and it's just you in your back garden. It's just raw. It's like, and a lot of the stuff there. I mean, likes of Wretch 32, Stormzy, Ed Sheeran, massive names there. But like, what I sort of loved about it was raw. It was just outside. It was in back gardens. It wasn't like the polished 5 cameras music video. Did you know what I'm getting at? Was that part of the reason why it was
Jamal was shooting
so special? Yeah, but he shot it in such a unique, brilliant way, didn't he?
Yeah, and it was. I'll be so honest with you. When he shot my warm ups, that's the first thing I ever shot with him, and I shot it like in his area. So he gave me a postcode. I came, I shot it, and it was done. And it was like, I let you know when I'm uploading it. And I was just like,
wow.
It felt like, wow, is that it?
Yeah.
Like it felt like, and then you don't know, like, did I deliver? Like here, like for example, we were sitting down here, we got a camera set up, like it feels like, oh, we're sitting down and we're talking.
Then you edit it, and then and I imagine for a music video, that process is very long.
Yeah, it didn't. He just shot it. It took about 15 minutes, and then he was like, yeah, cool, I'll let you know what's up. Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool, left. And I was just like, I got in the car and I was driving home, and I was like, okay. Like, it was just, okay, that happened, but what happens now, you just don't know. Yeah. And then I remember it went out, and Jamal messaged me like, yo, I'm having interest from labels. Like, what do you want me to tell them?
Wow.
And I was like, what? Interest from labels? He was like, yeah, like, he was like, XL are asking about you.
This is from one YouTube video, or a couple of YouTube videos?
One video. Wow. That one freestyle. And then I got the messages still from him now, like, XL are asking about you. And I was like, what? Asking what? Yeah. He was like, yeah, just asking, like, have you got a manager? And I was just like, what? He's like, let me know what you want me to say.
Wow.
I was like, what? And he was just genuinely dead. He didn't ask for anything. Yeah. Like, just, what a guy, man.
Yeah, let's talk about him, because it's so tragic what happened with him passing away. And I only met him once, in fact. So this was before I was a presenter. I worked on Soccer AM, and we had some music artists coming down, and he came down to do like some behind the scenes vlog of, we had some really big music guests on at the time. So I met him, and I saw after he passed away, actually, a message from him, just a DM on X, formerly Twitter. Yeah. And it was just like, oh, great to me, because I think I was looking after him behind the scenes and showing him where stuff was. And he was just so the one thing that struck me about him was so genuine and down to earth for someone that was so big, if that makes sense. Like you'd never know that he was this sort of global phenomenon in the music industry with the way that he acted. He was just such a classy, down to earth guy. How was he for you? How inspirational was he in your career, would you say?
He was probably the biggest thing that ever happened to me.
In your whole career?
Yeah, and you know, like some people pass away and people say that.
Yeah.
You look back, I've always said it. Like, always said it. He was like, because that's the moment I felt my life changed.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely.
When you met Jamal Edwards, your life changed?
Yeah, when I done that freestyle and that freestyle went out, I felt like my life changed. I actually felt like, oh, I'm going to do music. I never felt like it before that. I was like, wow, I'm going to do music. And then when I done my F64, it was even more like, wow, like people are here, people want to manage me. And people at the time, they're managing like the biggest rappers in the country, the biggest artists in the country. I'm sitting down having meetings with them about management. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, and it all come from that. When I look back, it all comes from that. When people talk about the first time they ever saw Yungen, it comes from that.
Yeah.
It was the biggest moment in my career, 100%.
It's so powerful, that. And it's interesting that you say that being on Jamal's channel, Jamal filming you, Jamal uploading it on one YouTube vid, straight away you're getting agents, publicists, record labels saying that. But he didn't want anything for his part in that.
Nothing.
Wow.
He just said, what do you want me to say? And
wow.
I was messaging.
What a guy.
I remember one time, I don't know if it was XL or I spoke to someone at a record label that come through Jamal. And then I was looking through our Twitter messages. And I said to him, yo, I just spoke to them at, like, he was like, oh, how did it go? And I was like, yeah, and we were just having a genuine conversation about it. And that was it.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't say, yo, like he didn't try to sign me. He didn't say like, yo, I want this or.
Because he could have done, really, couldn't he? With the connections he had, he could have gone down that route of signing lots of artists.
If he tried to sign me, I probably would have signed.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest with you. I would have been like, what? Like, this guy's a legend. I probably would have signed. But yeah, he didn't try to sign me. He just genuinely wanted to help. And then I'm so blessed I've done this. It was such a blessing. So last year, when I put out my last project, I did a song called Popstar. And the video director had an idea to go back to like back in the day of when I started and shooting old school. And I went, like, we have to get Jamal. And Jamal come and shot a thing for my new video behind the scenes.
Wow.
And that's the last time I saw him, and he died a couple of months later or a month later. And we sat down and we got videos like behind the scenes going, Jamal, this is where it all started. And
wow.
Like, I look back at that, I proper, like, when I saw the news, I just teared up. And I'm not like, as I've got older, I don't really cry much. And I teared up. As soon as I saw it, and I was like, it's got to be fake. It's got to be fake. And it just, you know, when someone just means so much, you don't even realize it. You realize it. I used to tell him, but as you go on in life and you progress, you know these people have been monumental to you. Yeah. But then they just sit. He just passed away. I was just like, what?
It was so suddenly as well, wasn't it? I mean, that, like you said, you're filming with him months before.
And
that bit, considering how sudden it was, I mean, like you said, that must have been so difficult for you to process.
So difficult. And then I was just thinking about his family, how his family must feel. And I love that they kept everything private, the funeral and stuff like that. Because he was so massive. Yeah. So many people would have wanted to show their respects, but I think it was important for his family to have that with him. And
as I said, I met him once, literally once, and I checked back the DM, and it was just such a lovely message. Thank you so much for looking after me, mate. Big love. Wish you all the best. It was just like, I just thought it's so classy. What do you think made him so special and gave him that sort of genius status? Because everyone that spoke about him speaks about him so highly. What made him different to other people that were in the industry at the time? Because everyone talks with such praise about him, quite rightly as well.
I think because he was just selfless. I think
really,
he was just selfless. Like I said, he didn't want nothing from me. And I think like everyone tells the same story. Like when he was passing, I was seeing people post him, and everyone was saying the same things about him. And 10 people don't say the same thing about you if it's not true. Do you know what I mean? Like, let alone thousands. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, and it's just a brilliant guy, man. Brilliant guy. But one thing, he left a mad legacy. People, when you talk about Jamal, you smile and just like, he's a legend, man. He birthed so many of us. Yeah. You know what I mean? And gave so many of us careers. And he's a legend, man. Yeah, mate. Well said. Very powerful as well. After that, of course, your career just went from strength to strength. I want to talk to you about supporting Naughty Boy in a 2014 worldwide tour. Where'd you go? Australia, Europe? You had fun there, didn't you? I can tell your face. Anyone knows Naughty knows. He's an absolute legend, man. Yeah, so I supported them on tour. We went Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia.
Jeez.
The whole of Europe. Like my first real experience of like performing and stuff. Like,
but can I ask, because I could be wrong in this assumption, but usually you build up to worldwide tours. You do sort of mini tours. You've obviously, you sort of burst onto the scene quite quickly, didn't you? Because of the Jamal Edwards SBTV effect. So to do one of your first tours being a worldwide one, was that a bit like, wow, this is all happening, like the X Factor case where suddenly you win X Factor and you're everywhere? Yeah. Did you feel like that at your stage in your career?
Yeah, definitely. And mainly because no one knew who I was. So I had to like work the crowd. I had to like, in my little area, my little bubble, everyone knew who I was, and it was easy.
How tough is that when they don't know who you are?
So tough. So they're looking at you like, you're not naughty, boy. Like,
who's this
who
guy?
Are you? Like, who are you, honestly? And then having to work a crowd and and then the guys I was with, like the band, it was just amazing. Like there was like 15, 20 of us just like touring the world. I've gained some friends, like people that I never thought I would even associate myself with. Like they're brilliant. I follow them on Instagram and that now still, and just follow each other's journeys. It was a journey, man. But Naughty Boy is an absolute legend. Yeah. Absolute legend, superstar.
Is he someone that you feel like you owe a lot? Because obviously he used you on that tour as well. Like, that was another big moment in your career.
It was massive. It was massive. Like, it was a blessing. Like, I take so much pride in performing because of that tour and because of Naughty. Like, it taught me so much. Yeah. Now, like, when I see artists coming up and, like, they just blow up. Yeah. And then they get put in front of thousands of people. Yeah. They don't know what to do. Yeah. And a lot of people are like, oh, how can you not know what to do? And it's not their fault. They just blew up out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? But I got the chance to experience all that first before I had like my big moment. Yeah. So
how tough is it being a warm up act? So I'm talking to this as a viewer now. Like, I got a lot of gigs and things like that. I recently went to a couple of comedy nights, 2 big comedy nights, and the warm up acts. It was fascinating watching, actually, because I thought this warm up act, I won't reveal names, was very good. But half the audience were just in the bar wanting to have a drink. Half were just not really bothered on their phones. And it's like, I remember saying to my mate I was with, going, this is a really tough gig for this comic because everyone is here. It was a Wembley Arena. It was a massive gig to see the headline act. Do you experience that when you go on stage? Do you just try and enjoy it? Or do you know in the back of your mind, only half the crowd are going to be here, half of them might not. Every note has got to land here. Is there extra pressure in a weird kind of way?
There is. When I first started performing Naughty Boy, I used to wear like sunglasses. Mainly because I see Tiny Temper do it as well. I'm just thinking, like, do you know what?
I've got to wear sunglasses.
Yeah, this looks cool. I don't want to wear them. But yeah, this looks cool, so I might as well do it. But it used to make me feel like I was like, they couldn't see me. Yeah. It sounded weird, but like, and I would just be like performing to like, I would just be performing, looking in a direction. I'm not looking at anybody. Yeah. But it just, I don't know, it gave me this, and at the start, and then I said, I'm taking these glasses off, man. Like, and then I started interacting and looking in people's faces and like, having a moment with them, and it really helped me, like really helped me, like be a good performer. And I also like supported Lethal Bizzle on tour, which was
Bizzle massive then, wasn't he?
Massive.
Yeah.
But that more helped, not more helped me than Naughty Boy tour, but that massively helped me as well because it was my crowd, it was my audience. Got you. So there was people that didn't know me in the music I made. Yeah. So it was like, yo, like you really got to impress here. And a massive shout out to Bizzle as well. For
good shout out. How are the nerves though? Because you said earlier on the podcast that you thought you were too shy, you weren't a very confident kid to even rap like in front of your mates. So now suddenly you're on tour in this massive venue in Australia. Yeah. Are you a bit nervous then or not?
Mad nervous.
Really?
Mad nervous. Now it's only like a recent. I don't know if I get nervous before I get on stage. I get a bit anxious every time I perform, and I start like stressing about things that I don't need to stress about. Yeah. But like took ages.
Does it come with experience? The more you do, the more confident you feel?
It's weird. Now I'd rather do more people.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Really?
I'd rather perform in front of like 50,000 people than perform at like 100.
Really? Well, you get more nervous performing 100%. In front of 100 people than you do 50,000.
Yeah, 100%.
Could you explain that?
Because you could just see the 100. Like,
all of them.
Each person that looking at you can see each facial expression. When it's like so many people, it's just a sea of people. Yeah, so it's like
that's interesting.
Yeah, trust me. In an intimate gig, it's like that. It's like they're like this, looking at you like. everything you do, it's like, okay, cool, am I not impressing everyone?
So if I need to take this podcast on tour, we aim for 50,000, not 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck with that, Smithy.
Exactly.
We need to try and do that. Tell me about the tour then. The first question I asked was the tour, and you laughed and you smiled. Yeah. So any stories you can tell to the camera, or can you not?
Naughty, man. Naughty's an absolute legend,
Is
man. Yeah, I don't want to I think they're his stories to tell.
Fair enough.
But I will say, he's a superstar.
Is he?
He done things and I thought, only you could get away with this. It was just a legend, man. Everything he made me laugh every single day. And he'll come and just every day come and give me a big hug. Yungen, it was just he's a legend.
Love that. How do you get through a tour as well? Because obviously the days you try and pack them into as much as possible. Yeah, I was watching randomly watching a bit of the Robbie Williams gig, Robbie Williams documentary. And he did a 64-date tour, and it was interesting. His manager at one point, someone asked, "What day on the tour are we?" And he said, "Don't ask him that question because you have to just do gig by gig. Yeah. Otherwise, if you think about the long term, is that? Can you relate to that?"
I just wanted to come home, bro.
Did you?
Yeah, I was enjoying it, but I was so homesick.
Yeah,
I was in Australia. I was thinking, what am I doing in Australia? And only place I ever been before that was to Jamaica. Yeah, as a kid, I never ever traveled. I was all the way 24 hours away every day. Every day we was flying to a different city in Australia, and as you know, Australia is massive. So it's 4 hours here, 4 hours there on flights, and I was just this is long, this is crazy, it's tiring, but you go and do the gig and have that hour moment. Yeah. And it's amazing. It's all worth it.
Is that the tough part of it? I suppose the stressful part is if you're feeling unwell or you're knackered or you're run down or I don't know if you're bouncing about on stage and your muscles are fatigued, or there's so many other things that I suppose we don't see. Yeah. The traveling, the jet lag, that part of it, as great as it is, and obviously you've got an amazing life doing that. Yeah. I imagine that must be really difficult.
Yeah, it becomes easier the bigger you get, I would say. I don't know if other people like Robbie Williams or people like Adele and stuff like that, Ed Sheeran, but for me, when I got bigger, I was able to bring my friends. Right. So my friends are there, so it just made it just lads on tour, really. Yeah. Nice. I had my friends there. When I first done my first tour, and we had the tour bus and we had FIFA on the tour bus, and all of my friends was on the bus, was living on the bus, sleeping on the bus. It was so eventful. That tour was amazing. Yeah. Even though I was knackered and we was literally traveling on tour bus, sleeping on tour bus, get to a city, go in a hotel, shower, come out. Yeah. Showering in venues. It was crazy. Yeah. But it was all worth it. All my friends are there.
And you're sharing that moment with them. Yeah. And that's friends from back in the day, not music friends as well.
Yeah, all my friends from back in the day. Yeah,
it's interesting you said that, actually, because I imagine the bigger you get, the bigger bus you can get, the better hotel rooms you can get. You can have a masseuse if you want, all the little things, or bigger rider, more food, drink. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so when I was touring with Naughty, and obviously I was just coming up, but I was flying economy is fine, but flying economy to Australia, I was listen, I need to make it because I'm never doing this again.
Person puts their chair back in front of you, like, mate, I've got a worldwide tour here.
Exactly.
Naughty's in first class with the champagne.
That's what I'm saying.
Was he actually?
Of course he was. I didn't see Naughty traveling once.
Yungen, keep the noise down back there.
Exactly. Naughty was living it up, but stuff like that inspired me. I didn't ever think why is Naughty flying first? He earned that.
Were you trying to pull the curtain back and they go, no, mate, you go back down there?
Yeah, well, Naughty was God. I didn't even. Yeah, I would have loved to have been up there, but
that gives you inspiration. You're about to say
100%. Yeah. I used to think, I need this, and Naughty was traveling with his team and his friends, and I was like, nah, I can't wait. I was saying it to my friends, I was talking to my boy Ham back home, and I was like, bro, Australia's sick, you lot should be here, and and I said, we ain't done Australia yet since I've been doing well, so we need to go back there with the
Watch
boys.
this space.
Watch this space.
I'm guessing another proud moment, nominated at the Mobile Awards for Best Newcomer. Now, obviously, as a young, up-and-coming artist, talk to you about the Mobile Awards. I imagine that's another platform that can elevate you again.
Mobiles was massive for me growing up. Massive. You watch it on TV, and it's our award show, ain't it? Coming up as a rapper. Yeah. The Brits and stuff was, it didn't seem like we could ever get there. Do you know what I mean? So the mobiles where you see the rappers blowing up, winning awards and stuff. It was massive for me to be nominated. Massive. Best Newcomer. Yeah, it was massive, man. It It was good. The year before it, Crept and Conan won it, which was like obviously my good friends. So
yeah.
it was
What's
sick.
that like when you're nominated with your mates? Because like I imagine it's powerful to share that moment with people, probably people you've collaborated with as well.
Yeah.
But you're obviously vying for the same prize.
Yeah. So that year I got nominated for Best Newcomer. Section Boys got nominated.
Yeah.
Stormzy was nominated for something else.
Yeah.
I think Crept and Conan was nominated for something else. It was like our whole area was there, like our whole ends that we grew up in.
Yeah.
South London, whatever. We was all like just at the mobiles.
Yeah.
And like, I remember Stormzy won and I went up when Stormzy won, and it was just like, it was just a moment for the whole ends. It's like when Section 1 Best Newcomer that year over me, and it just felt like, no, it didn't matter.
No, go on, be honest. How did you feel?
No, I was
Gutted, happy?
No, I was happy for them. I think I deserved it.
Yeah, yeah.
I still think I deserved it.
Yeah.
But I was happy for them because I knew how massive it was coming from where we come from. And I've never really had that competition with my friends. Like, I've never wanted to do better than my friends. Or like, I've never had that. As long as one of us win, then
that's a healthy way to be as well, your mindset, I think.
Yeah.
I think in the industry you're at, where I imagine there's a lot of politics, there's a lot of competition 100%. Vying for agents and all that.
And everyone puts you against each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and it's like, no.
That can really affect you, I imagine, can't it? If you don't think the way that you think.
100%. I remember coming up. So I was part of like Play Dirty with Crept and Conan.
Yeah.
And obviously they was Play Dirty before me as a duo. I joined the collective, and it was still, they was a duo and I was Yungen, but we was under this umbrella Play Dirty. And they obviously won a mobile before me. Crept and Conan are a duo.
Yeah.
People used to say to me, "Oh, how's Crept and Conan won it and you ain't?" I'm like, because I'm not part of Crept and Conan. Like, do you know what I mean?
So it's like your fans are more disappointed than you are actually about that.
100%.
Yeah.
And it was fans, but it was more so like just little haters and just to have something to say. Oh, Crept and Conan won them all. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Like, they've been grafting for longer than me. Do you know what I mean? They in their own right deserve that. Do you know what I mean? One day I will win something.
Yeah.
I've never won an award though, ironically.
Have you never won an award?
Never won an award.
You've been nominated for quite a few, right?
Yeah, I've been nominated, but I've never ever won an award.
Does that annoy you?
I don't care anymore. At the time,
I did back in the day.
Yeah, at the time I was like, raw, like, I think I deserved that, but now I don't care. Like, for me, the best awards I got, like my plaques of how many records I sold, and my mum's got up at the house, and it's like, wow, you sold that many records. Like,
yeah, that's amazing.
That's the only awards I need.
I'm going to come on to some of your tracks in a minute, but I want to ask you about the first record contract you signed, Sony RCA, is that right?
Yeah, Sony.
So I want to ask you, because we had a really interesting chat at a breakfast ages ago that we spoke about early in the morning.
Yeah.
As a presenter, if my agent gets me a job, he takes 20% of that. I get the rest for hosting whatever that event is. Yeah. Very straightforward. Tends to be how it works in sort of TV, YouTube, presenting the media industry. Yeah. In music, it is completely different, isn't it? Tell us about, in sort of layman's terms, what happens when you sign a record contract and what sort of percentages we're talking about for the artist.
So in music, is very different and it's much more complicated because there's so many other people. So as you said, your agent will get you something. You would, as a musician, have a manager.
Right.
So that's the person that would get a 20% or 15%, 10%, whatever you choose to give your manager.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, you also have a record label will come in and sign an artist who's on the come up. A lot of the time, they sign an artist before they blow.
Really?
Because that's when they can help you and take you to the next level.
Yeah, so they can see potential, see talent,
Of course.
Yeah.
So a lot of artists before, I think it's kind of changing now, but when I was coming through, a lot of artists would sign at the point of when they just started getting a bit of hype, getting a buzz, and then a record label will come and offer you money. A lot of us are from a place where never seen that kind of money.
Right.
So they'll offer you some money that change your life right now.
Yeah.
Like at this moment, this, whether it's £100,000 or £200,000, whatever it is, this will change your whole life right now. And that's what happened with me. So I was like coming up and I just released probably like, my biggest street record at the time, a song called Ain't On Nothing. Yeah. Massive. I had like Stormzy and that on the remix. It was like massive, doing so well. Like I was like doing so much shows off it. And I actually felt at the point like this is real now. This is, I'm a rapper.
You can make it. Yeah.
I can make it. And a couple of labels came in for me. RCA was the right label for me because the A&R at the time, a guy called Barry Burt, absolute legend. He come in and he come in to sign me, and he was just a fan.
Yeah.
And that meant the most to me. Where
Right.
other labels was coming in and saying, yeah, like we see potential in you, and they never even heard anything apart from it or nothing.
So Barry, he was a fan.
He was a fan. Like he was like, Barry's really here for the music. So yeah, I signed to RCA.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go into what the contracts is. So at the time, you don't know this. You're told it though. So I never cry about it.
Yeah.
But we just it's not our language. We don't understand it.
course.
Even though you have a lawyer and your lawyer explains it, it's still not our language. You don't understand it. So, for example, I don't remember exactly what the percentage of my deal was, but for example, you sign like, let's say an 80-20 deal.
Yeah.
So the label, say the label give you 100 grand.
Yeah.
And then they will sign, it will be 80-20 to the label.
Wow. So you would only see 20 grand of that 100 grand?
No, you'll see the 100 grand.
You see the 100 grand?
And then you have to recoup the 100 grand.
Right.
Before you see another penny. But
wow,
you recoup off 20%.
Wow.
So you don't, if I make another 100 grand, if I make the label back 100 grand now, I've only made them 20 grand.
Wow.
Back to your recouping.
Yeah.
So really I need to make $500,000 to pay back that 100 grand.
Because effectively it's like a loan, effectively, because they're letting you use studios, facilities and things like that.
Yeah, so like it's a loan. So no, it's mad. So they give you 100 grand advance.
They give you 100 grand advance,
and then you get a recording budget.
Right.
So your recording budget might be 100 grand.
So that's the 100 grand gone that they've given you because you put that into...
100 grand they gave you is yours.
Okay, so you got 100 grand.
Do whatever you want with
I'm struggling with this. You've got 100 grand. So you've got 100 grand.
So if I give you 100 grand now,
that'd be
that's
great.
yours. Do whatever you want with that.
Okay, that's mine.
That's yours.
Yeah.
But you also have 100 grand recording budget.
Okay, got you.
And you have 50 grand marketing budget.
Right.
And you have whatever. So really, you need to pay back 250 grand off 20% before you see any money.
Wow. And that's because of all the costs involved in music, like videos, videography, all of that, records, studios, all of that.
Exactly. Yeah. But at the time, when you sign, I was like, okay, I'll go studio. I'll spend all day in the studio, not record anything because I can't. My head's not. I'm not inspired to record.
Yeah.
But I've got these 3 days of sessions, so I'm there all day. I don't know this studio costs £3,000.
Yeah.
For these 3 days I've been here.
Yeah.
But when they give you, oh, how come I've not recouped? I've sold this many records. Oh, because remember 2014 when you was in the studio for a month? That cost $2 grand a day.
Wow.
So that's the stuff that happened.
Yeah.
And every time you go, you don't sign off on every time they spend money on you.
Yeah. So
they just spend it.
Wow.
And go, yeah, well, we spent that. Wow.
So that's why I'm not talking about Stormzy here, Adele's, Ed Sheeran's, like your Wretch 332s. I'm talking about like the rappers that are up and coming. They have one track, they get a contract. Is that why we see a lot of artists that then struggle to 100%. Then make money? Because and you've spoken very openly about this in the past about how 100%. A lot of up and coming people then struggle because 100%. Do they just see 100 grand and think, wow, this is it? They spend it as they see, which is fair enough. It's their money.
Smithy, I'll be honest with you. I spent my 100 grand within 2 months.
Did you?
I didn't even get 100 grand, but what I got, it was gone within 2 months.
And was that on music things? Was that on?
Nah, I got a house, somewhere to live. I bought a car. And that was it. I think, and then the money was gone. Like, God's honest truth. Like, that money was gone.
So that's why we see so many people struggling, is it because of how complicated it is with the
100%,
music industry?
But you're not taught that.
Yeah.
And God's honest truth, where I come from, I didn't know about credit.
Yeah.
I didn't know about anything. I didn't know about tax. I didn't know nothing.
Yeah. Like, did you not have people advising you then at this point?
No, because it just happened. Like, I had a manager at the time, but he was coming up as well.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? So it was like, no one knew what they was doing. Do you know what I mean? And when I look back at it now, it's a blessing. So I've learned my lesson, but I wish I learned it like a lot sooner.
Did you learn it the hard way, do you think? Like, in
100%.
terms of your finances, like, there's a lot that you didn't know, and did you lose a lot of money quite quickly in that
100%,
situation?
like, 100%, man. And what makes it worse as well, people know you signed. And then there's obviously rumors always around like how much you signed for.
Yeah.
People just think you have that money.
Yeah.
That's your money. That's it. Oh, you got signed for this. Oh, yeah. And then you'll see you in a car. Or, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, this is what I'm saying. But as times have gone on, the game's changed. Yeah. People have figured it out.
Yeah.
So I'll never, ever forget this. So obviously at the time of me coming up and signing, Stormzy was just blowing up. So he was on like my remix at 8 on that end, and then he was doing, I forgot what song he had out at the time. I think it was called Not That Deep.
Right.
And he was just blowing up.
Yeah.
And he had his first tour, and I went I went to come out for him and we come out to perform 8 or 9 together. And I just signed. No one knew I signed and didn't announce it, nothing. I went out, performed to him, and the minute was chatting like backstage, and he was like, "Bro, I heard you signed." And I was like, "How do you know I signed?" I was thinking, yeah, how'd you know? He's like, "Bro, why did you sign?" And I thought, why did I sign? It was bugging me the whole way home. I was thinking, what does he know that I don't? Like, what does he mean, why did I sign? Like, I never forget it. He was just like, why did you sign? But now, when I look back, in his head, he was probably thinking, if you carried on going independent for a little bit more time, do you know the bargaining power you would have had? Where I got offered a deal, and like, obviously Barry's my good friend, like even now. Yeah. So he wasn't trying to like...
No. But you think if you'd have waited another couple of years when some of the big tracks were blowing up, you could have negotiated a better split?
100%.
And that's what Stormzy was getting at.
Exactly. And then he's done great business, as we can see. Like, do you know what I mean? He's done brilliant business. Yeah. And these are the people we have to look at. And I don't know who was advising him, but
he had a clever advisor, you think? Yeah. He did it the right... Not saying he did it the wrong way and you don't regret it, but do you wish you'd have done it in his way?
I think Storms... I don't know. I'm like not talking for him, but I think he saw the people that came before him, Cretton Conan, myself, other people that signed, and thought, that don't make sense. Right. And he might have just asked more questions, and however he found it out, and he ended up doing brilliant business.
Credit to him.
To allow the people like Dave to come through. Yeah, and I think Dave. I don't think Dave's got signed. I think he's got his own label.
His own label. So he can control it and do all of that.
Yeah. So I think
the writing, the publicising, all of that. Yeah.
I don't want to talk for him. I don't know his actual situation, but I know he hasn't signed to a major.
Right. Yeah.
And he goes out. I know that his team do great business. Him and his management, like they do great business. And then that also they've opened the door. Now Central C has come. He does great business. Yeah. And that's how it goes. Do you know what I mean? Some people have to take the fall for other people to open the door and realize. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's mad. Hey, Young, and how important is it to write your own tracks as well? Because if you're just a performer, is the split even less than that then?
Yeah, so there's a record deal and then there's a publishing deal.
Right.
So a record deal is based off just your record sales.
Right.
Just your record sales, purely what you sell. Yeah. So you only recoup back on what you sell.
It's a lot of pressure when you release a track, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot. And I understand I was signed for 7 years. So I understand being in the deal, like why they want you to deliver singles and deliver albums or whatever. But then there's also a thing called publishing. Right. That's a publishing deal. So that's everything you write. So for example, there's so many massive artists that don't write anything. They have writers. Yeah. And they won't see nothing from that. Because it's all based off how much of a song you write. So a lot of the time it goes, if I'm the artist and you're the producer and I write the whole song and you produce a song, we'll go 50-50.
Wow.
If there's talented people like Dave, for example, who produces as well. Yeah. So Dave might produce some of the song with someone else and write the whole song. He might get 80% of a record.
So you negotiate that based on your role within the track.
Yeah. So you sign a record deal and then I sign a publishing deal as well. Yeah. But just learning, I signed a publishing deal after Bestie.
Did you?
Yeah. Wow. So my publishing deal was a lot better than my record deal.
Right. Fair enough. Because I imagine a lot of that's based on the success of the track.
Of course. I got offered a publishing deal before, but I was already making money and I didn't need the money. God's honest truth, the only reason I signed the record deal is because at the time I probably needed the money.
Really?
Yeah, and to be signed to Sony was massive.
That's really honest of you to look back on that and say that, actually.
Yeah, 100%. I'll be so honest. And to sign to Sony, and they was like, Chris Brown signed here, Usher. I was like, what?
Yeah. Wait, give me a pen.
Yeah, like, I don't know when
I signed.
Yeah, I was like, so what can I remember Zayn Malik was signed there, and I was like, I remember I wrote a song and I was like, what can I get Zayn on it?
Yeah,
it was like, don't work like that, kids.
Yeah. Do you know? Can you call Zayn?
Yeah. You make some hits first, and then we'll have that conversation.
Love that. So it didn't work like that. They didn't get him on the phone straight away.
No. I ain't got the song with Zayn.
Yeah. Is that why? Maybe not in sort of rapping in your exact genre of music, but like you see a lot of boy bands, girl bands who don't write their own music. When they finish, they then struggle because they don't earn the money people think they earn from the public eye. They might have sold out tours and stuff, but I hear a lot of band members talk once they're retired about the lack of funds they actually receive when they're not writing music. Is that fair?
100%. But then also,
because if there's 7 of you in a band, you've got to then split it 7 ways.
100%. But there's a gift and a curse because, like, I think bands that don't write, they're allowed to put out more music. They put out more music because someone's writing. So all they got to do is go and record it, and it's and
so you
done.
can release more music quicker, effectively.
Yeah, 100%.
4 or 5 writers involved.
Put out an album a year.
Yeah.
When you're writing and you're trying to write from your life experiences, and it's a lot. Like I always say, like me as a writer, no one's ever written anything for me, and I don't want anyone to ever write anything for me. Because I always want to tell the truth and my experiences or my friends' experiences or real things I've seen. But that also makes it take longer.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, oh, Yungen, you ain't dropped in a year. Well, yeah, mate, I've been going through some real life stuff. Like, and you're probably going to hear about it next year, but I'm going through this.
Be patient.
Right? Yeah, but where some people, some big artists, they have people writing for them. Yeah. Someone will just whip up a song and that fits your thing right now. Let's put that up.
Yeah. Mate, you mentioned Bestie. Let's talk about it. October 2017. Let's be honest, you became a household name then. Like you're big in your own circle, but I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong, that was when you sort of exploded. That track with Bestie. I mean, I got the numbers here. 57 million views on YouTube, by the way, for that track. It was in the top 10, racked up 56 million streams on Spotify. Did you feel like, wow, this is the moment for me?
Yeah, 100%. It was. Yeah, you know, I said my life changed at the SBTV. Yeah, and my life really changed then. Yeah, like really changed. But I think your life changes in different moments.
Ways. Yeah, I know what you mean by that.
But yeah, like it was like, yeah, it was unthinkable. I didn't ever think that would happen to me.
I was just about to ask that. Did you obviously knew you had a belt on your hands, but did you ever think it would be at that level?
No, I never thought that would happen to me. Like what happened to me through that period, and just my life changed like completely.
Go on, in what ways?
My friends' lives changed. Everything.
Really?
Yeah, everything changed, man. Like obviously I was grafting for so long, so I was always doing shows and earning money, and I was being a rapper. I was doing well. Yeah. But the moment that happened, it was like stop, like Youngen's here. Like we need Yungen here. We need Yungen to do this. We need Yungen to do that. Yo, we want Yungen to come and perform at Summertime Ball. I was like, Summertime Ball? Like,
so did that sort of take you into the mainstream then, where you're like Summertime 100%. Ball is like all genres, isn't it?
Yeah, I was the only rapper on the lineup.
Wow.
I was looking around like, what?
God, who was on the lineup then?
I think Rita Ora, Craig David. Who else was on that day? I think Jax Jones.
Yeah, so like massive names from all genres of music.
Massive, bro. And so I did that. That was sometime, but I did Jingle Bell Ball as well. Yeah. That the December before that. And that was like, I was just looking at it. That was the Ultra Arena. That's the first time I performed at the Ultra Arena. I was like, what am I doing here? Like,
were you?
Yeah, I was like, what am I doing here? And then that's the first time I met Craig David, who was my idol growing up. Like, and I see him walking towards me. Like, I was thinking, right, like there's Craig, and I'm with my friends. And he's gone, Yungen, my man. I was like, wow. Craig knows me. I was thinking, this is insane.
You're buzzing off of that.
I was trying to keep it cool, but I was like, that was my guy.
Did anyone film that?
Yeah, 100%. I think I had a picture of us like talking from the back, like from the side. Yeah. That was a moment. And then he was like, let's work. And I was like, what? Like, Craig wants to work with me. Listen.
So that took you to a new realm of like fans, basically. And obviously Jingle Bell Ball, I imagine that's a different audience to what you used to.
Much different.
Did you enjoy that because you're playing to a new audience so you can grow to new followers effectively? Or are you like, actually, I've got to change my sort of performance a little bit?
Yeah. It was an eye-opener for me.
Was it?
So it took me back to when I was on tour with Naughty. And I felt like, yo, they're not here for me.
Right.
So it took me back to that. Yeah. They knew the song, they knew Bestie. Yeah. I like what Capital did because they was like, you're gonna perform your hit and that's it. Right. Yeah, you're not gonna try and do no other songs that they don't know. You're gonna come perform your hits. I literally just performed Bestie. But there was a lot of people that was like, oh, this is the guy that I could tell that they didn't know who I was.
Interesting, yeah.
But there was people that did know, obviously. But I remember leaving there that day saying, I need to make some more hits. Like,
did you?
I need to make songs in this world. Because I've got so much rap songs and so much big songs, and people know me for grime, beef, and all this sort of stuff. But I'm really here now in front of the masses.
Does that change the type of music you do? Because you see a lot of rappers, grime artists in that area that they're like, they stick to what they know and they be real to themselves. Then you see others that know that by going more mainstream or releasing more of a pop hit that they'll explode more, but you want to be true to yourself as well. Is that a tough balance to have, actually?
Yeah, but like me doing Bestie was being true to myself.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like a lot of time, like people say like, there's a lot of artists that don't want to make commercial music.
You know what I mean by that, don't you?
100%.
Yeah.
I want to make commercial music.
Right.
Like, I like rapping. I like making grime. I like making drill and all this other underground stuff. That's where I come from.
Yeah.
But I also love Ed Sheeran and these kind of songs. Like, so that's I want to be over there as well with the main guys, the top dons in this thing. Like, definitely, like this is massive. I think, like, I understand it why people want to stay in their bubble in their comfort zone. But I don't want that. I want to be massive. I want to have hits. I want to go everywhere and they know my song. Yeah. When I had Bestie and I was performing in places like Yeovil and all of these places and they know my song, I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah. Like it took me to places in the world that, like, tomorrow I fly to Malta. They only, to do a show. Yeah. They only probably booking me because I had done Bestie.
Really? Do you think that's the case? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. If I didn't do that song and I just done rap, why would they want me in Malta?
I love that honesty, mate, about talking about you saying, no, I want to be commercial. I want to make big music and music that appeals to all cultures and all people. And it's interesting you talk about Ed Sheeran there because he's obviously, I'd say, probably the most mainstream artist in the world now. Is that fair to say? I mean, one of them. Yeah. And everyone thinks of him for, like, you know, the Thinking Out Loud, 18, a lot of the romantic ballads. But he started, a lot of his starting tracks. SBTV, You Need Me, I Don't Need You. There was the iconic clip of him, an example, rapping outside Nando's and him and Devlin behind the scenes gigs. So he's got that background. And he's collabed with Stormzy and stuff.
100%.
But I think he's so intelligent that he can still do records like You Need Me and I Don't Need You, but also Thinking Out Loud.
Why wouldn't you want to have a song like Thinking Out Loud? Yeah. I can't sing, obviously. I'm never going to make a Thinking Out Loud. But, like, I love that tune. Millions of people, young, old. That song fits everybody. Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to make music that fits everybody? I don't understand it, me personally. I want to make music for everyone. Yeah. There's going to be a time I'm going to talk to just the audience of where I grew up and my estate. And there's going to be times I'm going to do that. But there's also going to be times I want to speak to the world and make music for the world. Do
you think he's a bit of a genius, Ed Sheeran, in terms of the fact that he does make different types of music and in a unique... Well, I've seen him live 2 or 3 times now. It's literally him and a loop pedal on stage in front at Wembley Stadium, this was. And it's like...
And saving a lot of money as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he doesn't have all the money. Fireworks and all the display you see others, but you're glued to him.
Genius, man. And it's you're here to hear me sing and play my guitar, and that's it. Yeah. And that just shows... the incredible talent, the songwriting ability of Ed. Yeah. Wow. When I found out he wrote Justin Bieber, Love Yourself, I was like, this guy, that. How can you be that? How can you write that for someone else and give it away?
Yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
That's how good he is. Yeah. Like, no, you can have that one.
Do you think that's his best skill then? Because obviously he's great live, obviously releasing songs. Is songwriting Ed Sheeran's best skill set, do you think?
Yeah, I think songwriting and I think his delivery as well. Like, I think that it takes something to touch someone in a song. Yeah. And that comes from delivery, I think. So yeah, he's
one of the best in the game for you.
Wow, 100%.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Look, let's go back to Bestie then, that time. Yeah. You said it changed your life, it really changed your lives. Yeah. What were the best and worst things about it? I mean, I imagine you had a lot of friends after that record.
Yeah. Yeah,
what were the highs and the lows from that? Because I imagine, like you said, you're in the mainstream now.
Yeah, the highs was just like, obviously my life's changed. Yeah. Like we're literally traveling the world. I remember when we went top 20, we was in Ibiza. Yeah. And I was with my friend, one of my best friends, Ham, and we was traveling and everyone was there and we were just celebrating. I remember just looking around and thinking like, wow, we're here. We was with Tiny, Temper, and like, I was like, wow, like we're here. Like I actually felt like, right, I'm here. I've arrived. Yeah. Like I'm here. Yeah, it was massive. And then it was so ironic because just before Bestie, I did my first UK tour. Yeah. Just before that. And then I did Bestie. And then 2 months later, I toured again. Right. Just after Bestie. Yeah. And then I did a bigger tour and more dates. And that was amazing. That's the first time I got my bus with my friends. Yeah. And all my friends were on a tour bus. And yeah, the highs was unimaginable, man. Yeah. Like I said, I couldn't believe that happened to me. Really? And the lows, I think, just the pressure to go again.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So once you release a banger, is it then really hard to release another one after that?
Yeah, because Bestie, I didn't try to make a hit. Really? Like, I think it just happened. Yeah. I felt like I realized that was the sound at the time. And I said, oh, let's make something in this realm. And obviously I just happened to make Bestie such a big record. But I wasn't trying to make a hit. Yeah. So when you don't try to make a hit and it happens, it becomes a hit. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That do you know when you're writing a song if it's gonna bang or not? Like if I do an interview, I usually know if it's with a big name, it's more likely to get views on YouTube than, and you know if you've done a good job. You can use, titles, thumbnails. There's a lot of analytics that go into it. And, I recently interviewed Pep Guardiola. I was quite happy with it. I knew that would do quite well because it's Pep Guardiola.
Of course.
With a song, do you have any inkling if it's going to bang or not?
You do and don't. Like you can have all the metrics right on a song.
Yeah.
But you can put it out on the wrong day. And
mad.
Or it just.
And when you say the wrong day, you mean because there's other hits going out, or Christmas time and there's loads of tracks or whatever?
Yeah, for sure. Like right now, obviously we have. At the time, we didn't really have it was more like radio playlists. Then now we have like Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
So I might have a song that's a monster and say, I'm dropping it 1st of February, my birthday. Like it's gonna be massive. And then Dave comes out. Stormzy, and Adele do a song together, and then it's like, thanks
Dave,
guys,
Stormzy and Adele collaborated, the greatest song ever written.
I swear to you, Smithy, all jokes aside, I have the worst luck on release day.
Go on, give me some examples.
So the day I released my SBTV, right?
Yeah.
My first ever SBTV, a rapper called English Frank came out on the same day.
Right.
And he did this mad freestyle, like it was crazy. It just went viral.
Yeah. Unlucky there.
Go on,
give me another example.
The day I released, I think it was 8 on Nothing, one of my biggest street records, Gigs came out and done Whipping Excursion. And everyone was talking about Gigs. And I was like, oh my God.
Your luck's out.
Then the day I released Bestie, Rihanna came back from a hiatus and dropped Wild Thoughts.
Wow.
I was like, guys.
Banger, to be fair.
Please, can I have a chance? I remember dropping Bestie and everyone was like, oh yeah, it's Bestie. Track sick. And then Rihanna just comes out of nowhere with DJ Khaled, Wild Thoughts. Bryson, I was like, oh my God. So I have, but then, the song still did all right. Do you know what I mean?
Mate. 57 mil on YouTube I was looking at last night. It's not too bad, is it? But it is interesting. I've heard Noel Gallagher talk about Wonderwall. He says it's not the best track he's ever written, but it went the most global.
My best song is a song called Take My Number.
That's your best track that you've ever written, you think?
Written, sounding wise. That song's like, so I put that out a year before Bestie. Yeah. Bestie blowing up, I think kind of made that song become massive as well. So that's but when I perform now and I do Take My Number, I feel it. Like, do you? People are like singing, looking at me.
That's your song.
That's my song. Yeah. And I think
I like that.
Bestie, people are like, oh yeah, this is his hit.
Yeah.
But when I get to Take My Number in the set, that's what people are there for. Like people are it's like they're so happy I'm doing Take My Number. Yeah. Where Bestie, they know I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I get you.
But Take My Number, that song, sometimes I say I wish I did them the other way around, but if I did them the other way around, Bestie probably never would.
I imagine as an artist, you can always think about that, can't you? When you release, when you're gigging and all that. Yeah. What I was going to ask there, with Bestie there, you had all the positives and all of that, but did you have a lot of people that were clinging on and hanging on to you then because you suddenly became not an overnight success, but it catapulted you to a new level?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, of course. But I'm very much like, people know my circle's been my circle. It's never changed. Yeah. You can't really get in this circle. Because we're tight knit. Yeah. My friends are my friends. We fall out, we're still friends. We love each other. Yeah. But I've never really let anybody else in. Yeah. So you could feel it. I found out I had some family members I didn't know I had. And stuff like that.
Some people we don't know who they are.
Yeah,
who's this guy?
I just so much stuff. And obviously I have a massive family as well. Yeah. So it was but it's a blessing, man. Yeah. It's a blessing.
And when you release that and it's gone so well, do you then have to sit down with your publicist, your agent, and go, right, what's the plan? We've got to hit this while it's hot and do loads of TV, do loads of appearances, release the next track, book a tour. Is it a bit of a 100-mile-an-hour to strike while the iron's hot a little bit?
Yeah, I kind of my diary was just full and I was just turning up to things. But I wish now I kind of structured it better. I wish I kind of took control of that and I was just like, no, that's what I want to do. Right. No, that's what I want to do, because I feel like when you're just doing everything, you're just doing everything, and people are not there's something about someone that's just not everywhere.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
know what you mean.
I've noticed that, and I'm actually someone that's not everywhere. I don't go out. I don't I'm at home playing my game or making music. That's all I'm doing. Really. But I was just everywhere at that point, and then I was going and sitting and talking in front of people that I wouldn't necessarily talk in front of. And I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, interesting.
Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know if that's a good thing. That's why when I come on Sky with you guys,
Yeah.
I loved it because it was football. That's my thing. I'm happy to be here. Like, we could talk about football all day. It brings me out of my shell.
Yeah.
But as time went on, I was like, I don't want to do anything that's not me.
Yeah.
So that's why, a lot of the time you see me doing football stuff because that's the only thing I really want to do. Bar.
I like that. It's good to hear that, doing things you've got a passion for. Right, Young, and we've got some quick fire questions you always do on the pod. I think you've answered the first one. Best track you've ever written?
Take my number.
Yeah. Best track you've ever performed? So that's the best track you've written, but is it the same track you'd go with for performing live?
Yeah, but I also have a track that's not one of my biggest at all called Do It Right.
Yeah.
And I perform this track called Do It Right at every show.
Yeah.
And it like turns the place upside
Does
down. Yeah, it's like I do it after Bestie. Like, I end the set usually with it. But it's like a real moment. So
Okay.
Yeah, I like doing that.
Best gig you've ever done?
Wow. 2017 Cardiff on my tour.
Oh, specific. Why Cardiff?
Yeah. It was just, the place was shaking for an hour. Like, I stepped up. They knew every single song.
Love it.
Word for word. And it was a special night for me as well because my friend that passed away when I was like 16, it was the day he passed away. And that was like the first year I never went to like this place he died. Right. And I was like, I felt like so like, and then they sang happy birthday to him for me.
Wow.
Or was it? No, it was his birthday, sorry. So it was his birthday. And it was the first time I never went to, the place he died on his birthday. And they sang happy birthday to him for me. And it was just like,
that's powerful.
The whole show was perfect.
Yeah. So you got mad love for Cardiff, right?
Yeah, that was a highlight of my life.
Worst gig? I'm just intrigued. Not many, I know, because you're a top artist, but is there one that you go, that won't be best?
I've had a few, you know. I'll be honest. I've had a few. I remember one time, I don't know if Storms remembers this. Storms been doing so many gigs. One time, I got booked for somewhere, and Storms was doing he was just about to drop his album. So he was like, yo, let me cut. He was just trying to pop out for people.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, come to my show. Turned out there was nobody there, bro.
No.
The promoter just had a nightmare. Didn't promote it. There was no.
Did you still perform?
Of course not.
So you didn't, right? Okay, because there's literally no one there.
We walked in. Me, my team, Storms, his friends walked into the venue. Walked on the floor.
Wow.
There was like 3 people there. It was.
You couldn't have done a legendary intimate gig for them. You just thought no point.
I could have, but but then also this is a highlight.
No.
And I hope no one has the footage of this. I don't know why I'm bringing it up, but I was performing with Cretin and Conan. We was on tour, and they had this train on the stage that they had built, but like you could only see the train when Cretin and Conan came out.
Right.
So when I came out, I said to the stage manager, I said, "Oh, how much space have I got?
Yeah,
because I want to walk out backwards."
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, there's enough space." I said, "All right, cool." I've walked out backwards. First song, turned around, stepped off stage.
No. Completely fell off stage?
Fell off and it was
that's the first
stage.
moment that you've come on stage?
Yeah. But that's the
reveal.
And you got to remember, everyone's got their phones out. I walk off, turn, I literally stepped off stage. The stage was like this high. Fell flat on my face.
What happened after that?
I just performed on the floor. And then I climbed up and I started rapping.
That's definitely no Cardiff 2017.
Oh, definitely not. Oh my God. Dear. I was checking Twitter for days after that. Like, please don't have this footage, please.
Love that. Great story. Another few quick ones. Best artist you've ever supported?
That's hard. Supported on Twitter, Bizzle.
Yeah, okay,
Bizzle, yeah.
Best live performer you've ever seen? Now, that can be a gig that you're playing, you've been to.
Tiny Temper.
Tiny Temper? Why Tiny Temper?
It's the best to ever do it, man.
Wow.
Best rapper I've ever seen. Him, DJ Charles is DJ.
Yeah.
They're like synchronized.
Tiny Temper, number one
in the world.
You've ever seen?
In the world.
Wow.
Ever. Like, I think Travis Scott's like incredible, but Travis is incredible. It's just energy, screaming. It's like everyone's just going mental. But Tiny Temper, word for word, clarity. If you ain't seen a Tiny Temper show,
I never have.
You should go,
really?
100%. Especially at festival. Insane.
Yeah. And last one, best after party you've ever been to. You like that one?
Ooh, that's a good one. Best after party. Oh man, I've been to a few good ones. That's a good one. Maybe Mobiles.
Yeah, I bet that.
One of the first Mobiles.
Yeah.
I think maybe the year Cretin and Conan one. I think
just vibes.
Yeah, I think that's the first time we felt like we was in the industry. Do you know what I mean? And
Nice, like it.
Yeah, that's sick.
And what do you prefer? Just quickly, gigging, writing music, releasing tracks. Like, there's obviously so many different aspects to the industry. What do you get your biggest buzz out of?
I hate releasing.
Do you?
Yeah, I hate releasing. I just get so anxious about it.
Right. Okay.
I hate releasing. Probably why I don't release a lot. But I swear to you, I got so much songs, but I hate releasing, man, because I think even from when I first started, I would release and just like, that's it. I don't want to look at what it's doing. So I hate releasing, but I love it at the same time because it's a bittersweet. I love performing.
Yeah,
yeah.
Thought you said that.
I love performing. It's just because it's everything you do when you're in the studio and you're recording a record, you're writing a record, or you come up with a lyric in your head.
Yeah, you buzz off it.
And then 2 years later, these people are singing it to you.
Yeah,
it's
that must be
like
an amazing buzz for people singing your tracks back.
Best feeling ever.
So performing takes it.
Yeah, best feeling ever. And what's the other one you said?
I was just saying performing or writing music, really.
Yeah, I love writing.
Yeah,
I love writing. I think.
Is it quite lonely though, writing? You just sat in your room coming up with lyrics?
Yeah, a lot of time I write in the car.
Do you?
Yeah, a lot of time I write in the car.
Not while driving, like while you're in the passenger.
It's just in my head.
Oh, do you?
A lot of time now I just write in my head. I don't really write things down. It's so crazy because like I remember Rich used to say that. Yeah, I used to think whatever, man. You're not right. You're just writing in your head. And now I'm here just writing in my head. Like I think as time goes on, you remember it, and I think writing it down, I could write it now.
Yeah.
And then when I go to record it tomorrow, I forgot how I was delivering it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forgot how I was delivering it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it properly, but you know what I'm saying.
How you'd rap it, how you'd sing
it. I'm like, bro, how was I saying that again? Because it's just written, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But when it's in my head, it's everything.
Like the melody and all that with it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting with you as well, Yungen, because you're obviously synonymous with music, but like you've got a big passion for football. That's how we know each other. You've been on many of the Sky shows that I host as a guest, but you're also a musician that knows a lot about football. You're a massive Liverpool fan.
Massive.
You've got your own podcast now as well. How's that going? And how do you balance that with with music as well?
It's crazy because like doing the pod just feels like linking up with my boys and just having
enjoy
fun.
It?
Yeah, because I do the pod with like my friends, one of my friends from school.
Yeah, that's class.
Two of my other friends that I've grown up with. And we just literally just sit down and talk rubbish about football. And it's just like, it's funny. Like,
as you would do down the pub, disagreeing. Yeah, exactly. You got lucky. No, you didn't.
Exactly. And we have like, a lot of the time people would say all the time, Yungen, you are so biased. I didn't realize until I done the pod how biased of a Liverpool fan I am. Like, I'm so biased.
Yeah.
But it's just fun, man. The pod, I love doing the pod because it's genuinely like there's no pressure.
I was just about to say that phrase. I imagine there's a lot of pressure with you to write music because that's what people know you have. No pressure doing a football pod.
I don't care what the pod does.
Yeah.
I just genuinely enjoy it.
Yeah,
the day I link up with my friends.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, and it sounds crazy, but as we're getting older as well, my friends have families, we have we have different lives, working, whatever.
Harder to see your mates, isn't it? Exactly. You get with families.
So when we sit down and we talk about football, that's like the link up. A lot of the time when we're filming a pod, like some of our friends are in the background, like not on camera, like getting involved in the convo and it's amazing. So we got the pod.
Class.
And I'm a massive football fan.
Yeah, go on, Liverpool this season. Looking good to be fair. What's your prediction for Liverpool this season?
Looking good, man. It's wild. I don't think City win the league.
Don't you?
So I think it's between Liverpool and Arsenal.
Ooh,
I think so, man. Okay. I think so. I think
3-horse race, you're saying?
Yeah. Obviously, City can always turn up.
They've got that. They can win 20 in a row in them, haven't they?
And KDB still got to come back, and that scares me. But I think it's a big odds if we win it because I think it's a brand new team.
Yeah.
But we look good, man, and Klopp looks happy again.
And
I love that.
You like that, don't you?
Yeah.
Go on, what's next for this year then? Podcast, music, performing, tour, new tracks. Tell me what you got planned for the new year.
This year, I've set myself a target. I'll say it because I'm going to have to live up to it.
Go on.
I want to drop 3 projects this year.
Wow, go on.
3 projects. One being an album for sure. My first album. I've not released my first album yet, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I've had my reasons. I've always wanted my album to tell my story fully, everything. And I think there's never been the moment to do that yet.
Yeah.
But I think it's more than time now.
So the 3 sides. So one is an album next year. What are the other 2 projects?
I just want to put out I want to put out a fun summer project.
Okay.
I really want to put out like just a fun summer project.
Well, like a festival type thing, or
yeah, no, just like with songs like Bestie and stuff.
Oh right, okay.
I don't know if Bestie would be on my album.
Wow.
That's what I mean. Like that's why I don't know if a Bestie would be on my album, on a Yungen album.
Wow.
So yeah, I want to do a project like that, them kind of records, and then I just want to do like just like more of just a fun rapping, not really thinking about it project. Like rapping on beats that are not like that people just send me, and there's not too thought about.
So you're still music is your passion. Football, the podcast and the football side, it is more like a fun project to deal with.
Yeah, music's my passion, man.
Because you said someone stopped you in the high street the other day and said, "Do you still do music?" And you said that wound you up.
No, I was like, what do you mean? Like they pulled up next to me, and I was like, at first they didn't know it was me, so I was at the lights, and they pulled up, and I think they was just like looking at my car, and they told me to wind down the window, and I wound it down. And they was like, "Oh, Yungen, what's going on?" I was like, "What's going on? You're right." He's like, "Bro, you still do music?"
Oh,
I was like, "What do you mean? Do I still do music? Of course I still do music, but they're the little things I need that gives me that fire in my belly." Like I said, like what I said about my dad when I was younger, when he would I didn't want to let him down. So it gave me that fire in my belly.
Yeah.
That's what I have now.
That random bloke at the traffic lights is giving you fire in your belly.
Gave me that fire in my belly.
You're going to release a number one track just for him.
Well, there you go. There you go. And I am still making music. See me right there?
Yeah.
Performing, headlining, Glastonbury.
Love that. And we always ask our guests this, finally, proudest moment of your whole career so far. Obviously, still got loads to offer, but so far, what do you look back on as your most proud moment, would you say?
Proudest moment, do you know what? I've probably been asked this a few times and said different things, but just what comes to my mind right now, my mum and my dad coming to their first show together ever, Shepherd's Bush Empire on my tour, sold out. My mum, I don't think she believed I was a rapper till that day.
Wow.
So that was massive. Proudest moment for sure. My mum don't stop talking about that day.
Oh, mate, that's beautiful. Yeah, and lastly, just advice. We asked this on every episode of the pod, just advice for people like young artists, rappers, people that want to follow in your footsteps. Because you've spoken a lot about how you do things differently in this pod, certainly with like record labels and stuff. So just wonder what advice you have for people.
Whatever you believe is the thing to do. Yeah. Nobody knows what they're doing. Literally, I don't think anybody knows what they're doing. So if you believe that's your route and that's what you want to do, I think follow it. Literally follow it. Build your right team, core team. Make people go and learn. But I would evidently say just whatever's in your gut, go with it. Yeah. A lot of the times I've taken other people's advice when I've really wanted to do something else. And,
really?
Yeah. And
I regretted that.
I wouldn't say I regretted it. I would say I really learned from it. Yeah. Wow.
Should have gone with your gut.
I should have gone with my gut because I tell you one thing before I go. Yeah. There was a song I put out and this was after Bestie, and I swore blind I shouldn't have put it out. Not shouldn't have put it out, but I swore blind I should have did it another way. Yeah. And I got advice, and everything they were saying made sense. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, no one made me do anything. I chose to go ahead with it, but everything they were saying made sense. This is why we should do this, and this will definitely be a hit. And I was like, yeah. And I knew it wasn't going to be a hit. I knew in my gut. Really? I knew it wasn't the right move. Which track was this? A song called Mind on It, right, with Jess Glynn. Yeah. And I knew in my gut it wasn't the right song. Right. Because I knew my supporters.
You know what your fans want. Yeah.
Yeah, Bestie wasn't that kind of song. Where the song Mind on It, it's like I was trying it. Yeah. And even though I made the song, I knew it wasn't the right move. And I took the advice. Everyone was like, come on, Jess was just off the back of guy number one. Yeah. So come on, I would have been stupid. It was an honor to work with Jess Glynn. Honor, she's obviously massive. Yeah. But it wasn't the right song. Yeah. It wasn't the right move for me.
So it's a powerful note to end with. So go with your gut. Yeah. Trust your instincts.
Yeah. And when I say no one knows what they're doing, people obviously know what they're doing. Yeah. But
no one knows better than yourself.
Of course. Yeah. No one knows better than yourself, because on paper that song made 100% sense. In our minds, we was setting up, we've just done Bestie, we're platinum in less than a year. We've got this monster song with Jess Glynn, who's number one right now, and they just didn't connect.
Really?
And it was just but I knew it wouldn't connect. Yeah. But it was just yeah. But then it's a blessing. I got to work with Jess Glynn. He's a legend.
So it works out right in the end. It's interesting though hearing that. It's powerful that.
Yeah,
I think it's a perfect note to end it, mate. Really, mate, I've got to say, of all the pods we've done, I felt like I've learned a lot from this. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
We share a love for music. We share a love for football. We also share a really strong love for 10-pin bowling, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Love
we ain't done it
we
yet.
ain't done it. I've got a really good. Every time I go 10-pin bowling, someone goes, "What are you, 12?" But I love it, and you do as well.
I love
so we need to
bowling.
get a game of 10-pin bowling going.
100%.
We'll sort that out, mate. You are top man. As I've said as
bro.
well, you've given up your time to come here. You're gigging in Mortal tomorrow. Wish you all the best with your gig.
Thank you, brother, man.
Top man, Yungen.